Class, welcome to Lesson 6. This is, in my opinion, one of the best weeks in the course because we get to go through legal structure. Legal and tax week is often either very fascinating or incredibly dull. So if you feel like you're in that latter camp and it's a little bit more dull this week, I apologize. I promise you the information is essential, critical to your success, and I hope we can liven it up enough to make it bearable for you. Let's go ahead and jump in. We've got legal structure and licenses and taxes. Please don't forget your project 2 is due this week. So legal structure is one where you will research various legal structures applicable to your country or state or territory. There is an article here, hg.org, that is very helpful, but for U.S. legal structures. If you do not live in the U.S., feel free to research your own legal structures in your country. I find those essays extremely fascinating to see how these are established in other countries. But I will briefly review the handful of business structures described here. You can use this site, hg.org, to go through much more in-depth explanations of these. I will just give you the preliminary explanations, the pros and cons of some of these. The 4 main structures you'll have are sole proprietorship, partnership, corporations, and limited liability companies. There are also nonprofit. Is another option. I've only had 1 or 2 students ever do it. It comes with a lot of tax implications, and you probably want professionals at your fingertips that can help you navigate through that. Sole proprietor, let's start off with that one. That is the simplest business form. If you do a sole proprietorship, it just means you are the sole owner of your company. It takes nothing more typically takes nothing more than you establishing your business and beginning to operate. You'll want to check taxes and regulations, of course. We'll go over that later. But as far as being represented as a legal entity, it takes very little as a sole proprietor. You can write down your business plan on a napkin. You can start to operate your business and be recognized under the law that you are a sole proprietor, a sole owner. The advantage is the total control. No one else can control your business but you. If you're a sole proprietor, you get all the say in it. It can grow as big as you want, and you get all the say. The downside is that the sole proprietorship offers very little legal protection. So if someone sues you, they can go after your personal assets, your home, your car, your bank account. There's not a lot of protection because the law views you and your business as the same. So that's the disadvantage to the sole proprietorship. A partnership is very similar to the sole proprietor, except that there's 2 or more people. Again, very easy to establish. You can write your agreement on a napkin and you're legal partners. And again, all the control, all the flexibility, however you guys divide it up in a partnership, but your personal assets can be, not every time, but can be more exposed in a partnership, just like a sole proprietorship. Corporations, I won't spend a lot of time on. You can research those. There are some tax advantages to those, to the S Corp and the C Corp. And then finally, limited liability company. This is very common because for small business, for fairly little to no cost, depending on where you're at, you can establish a limited liability company or an LLC. And it functions much like a sole proprietorship when you're small in the sense that you can make the decisions. But it provides that protection. When it says limited liability, it means that your liability, right, your risk exposure is to your business assets, not your personal assets. And so if someone sues you, they can only come out after the company's funds instead of your personal funds. The downside is that as you grow, you have to form a board, you have to give away some control of your company, and so you lose a little bit of that control in the end, and the board could essentially take away the company from you if it saw fit one day. So there's risk in that sense to the limited liability company. That is a very quick and simple overview of options to form a legal business in the United States Of course, there are others. I've had a fascinating time learning about legal structures in Brazil, a couple other countries from Central and South America, some European and African nations. I've really enjoyed it. So if you're researching structures outside of the U.S. And you're struggling to find resources on that, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to research that together with you. So for this essay, please make sure you identify which location, in your location, which legal structure will be best for your business and why and how you would set it up. AHG.org may not give you all the information on how to set it up. You may have to research that with your local small government office. All right, license and taxes is going to be similar to the legal structure assignment, except there's not an HG.org, a central website like that can explain licenses and taxes, because it varies so much from city to city, state to state, territory to territory, country to country. So this will be up to you to do some research on. There's some examples here of where to find some basic tax information in some areas. I know a lot of you are in the state of Idaho, where BYU Idaho is, and so there's some information here as a sample to get you started. But for this assignment, you'll need to research what taxes and licenses apply to your business based on your locale, and then explain which licenses you'll need, how you came to that conclusion, and then please provide references, typically URLs. If you need to call your local government office, that's fine too. You can reference the person you spoke to or their title, but just make sure you reference how you came by this information that you're sharing here. And make sure this is at least 125 words. That will be it for week 6. Licenses and taxes and legal structures can be a lot of fun. They can make you pull your hair out if you're not well prepared for them. But if you do your math ahead of time, when I say do your math, that's a phrase we use at work a lot, but essentially count the cost, prep ahead of time when it comes to licenses and legal structure. You won't be pulling your hair out. You'll have a good foundation. My advice to you is never be intimidated by these things. As a business owner, you will work through this all the time. You'll get very comfortable with it. Don't end up pulling your hair out. Have confidence in yourself. In the end, you'll be able to break it down and understand it well enough for your individual location. Students are often intimidated by this assignment, and at the end of it, we'll find, there's a lot of good information on it. Most governments know they need to explain this at the level of the business owner rather than the level of the attorney to get them started in business. If you're having trouble, as always, please reach out. We'll work on this together. Thanks.